everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 8 English lesson on nouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 8, and then we scroll down all the way to our chapter of nouns. All right. Our chapter is nouns. Our subject is English language arts. Grade 8. And the lessons that we're going to be focusing on is to identify plurals, singular possessives as well as plural possessives, and to form and use plurals. All right. So when it comes to nouns, right, we have plural nouns, and then we have singular possessives, and we have plural possessive, right? Nouns. Then we also have, so when it comes to plural nouns, right? Plural nouns is like where we basically just like, it's like where you, when it's more than one thing, and then it either it ends with an S, or depending on, or it can end with ES or IES, right? Depending on the specific word, right? Then we have possessives, right? Or possessive nouns. We have singular possessives and we have plural possessives. Singular possessives, right? It's a noun who refers to someone who either owns something or someone who has something, right? And when a noun is singular, then we add an apostrophe and s to form the singular possessive noun. For example, met, right? If we want to show that something belongs to someone, for example, met, right? So if we want to say that the gloves belongs to Met, then we can say it is Met's gloves. So Met's with an apostrophe and an S. If we look at another example, then we can say the bird. If we refer to the birds, right, and the wings of the birds, then we can say the bird's wings, meaning that we are referring to the bird's wings, right? Something that belongs to the birds. And these are possessives, right? And like we said, when we have a possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something. And we have maybe a singular noun. So when a noun is singular, we add an apostrophe and an S to form a singular possessive noun. All right, if we now look at the plural possessives, right? Plural possessive, when a noun is plural, which refers to more than one thing, right? Or person, or animal, or so on. When a noun is plural and it ends with an S, for example, then you just add an apostrophe, only an apostrophe, and that is to form the plural possessive noun. For example, if we make mention of the camp that the boys went on, then we can say, and the boys refers to more than one boy, and then we can say the boys' camp, and then we only add an apostrophe, only an apostrophe, not an apostrophe and an S, because our the plural noun already ends with an S. If we talk about the schools, the teams of the schools, right? And then we say the schools teams, and we added an apostrophe, only, only an apostrophe at the end of that word schools. It refers to the teams of the different schools. But now also when a noun is plural, right, and it does not end in is, then we add an apostrophe and an is to form the plural possessive. That is now when we have and like the irregular nouns. Verbs that add that for example is like, sorry, nouns that is for example like children, right? And children, right, it refers to more than one child. So if we want to talk about the toys that belong to the children, and then we can say it's children's toys. We added an apostrophe and our s. All right. And if we also want to talk about the mice, right? Mice refers to more than one mouse, right? So we say the mice's tails, and we add an apostrophe and an is to refer to more than one mouse, right? But also showing the something or someone owning that specific thing. Let's say the mice's tails, it belongs to the mice, right? The children's toys, it belongs to the children. That shows position. It shows who or what owns something, or it shows who has something. It's like saying we're showing position. It's like mine, it's yours, right? All right. So now we're going to A plus students.ca, and we're going to continue with identifying more plurals, singular plural possessives, and plural possessives. All right. And we already made mention of our plural possessives as well as our singular possessives, right? So now if we look at the word in bold, right? It says, what is the word in bold? The word in bold, we need to say if it is either singular possessive or if it is plural possessives. To the word in bold, it says the team's shining moment this season came when they defeated their longtime rivals in overtime. So the team's a shining moment. So we need to say the word teams with an apostrophe and s. Is that a singular possessive noun or is that a plural possessive noun? Teams. The teams is shining moment, the season. Is that a singular possessive noun or a plural possessive noun? All right, and if we look at that specific word, we can say it is a singular possessive noun. It's a singular possessive noun, right? Because it's referring to, let's say, for example, the team maybe had a team, not the team, right, had a, it says the team's shining moment this season came when they defeated their long time rivals in overtime, right? Teams. So that is a singular possessive noun. All right, it says our representatives, our representatives' voting record has proved to be popular, even among those who were her vocal critics. We need to say if the word our representatives is either a singular possessive noun or a plural possessive noun. Representative. All right, and if we choose the correct noun, we can say representatives is a singular possessive noun, right? So it's a singular possessive noun. And basically, it tells us who or what has something or owns something, right? And that is basically your possessives. The author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and wading through creeks in a rural Oregon. These experiences are brought to life in her stories. All right, so authors, if we look at the word authors, if we refer to author, it's like saying the author referring to one person. So if we want to talk about her childhood or his childhood, and then we can say the authors. Oh, if it says her stories, and it means it's a woman. So it is the author's childhood, right? So we can say once again, this is a singular possessive noun. A singular possessive noun, right? The authors, it belongs to the authors. The author, sorry. It is the authors. That is what it means. So it is a singular possessive noun. All right, now let's go to our test where we are going to either identify plurals, singular possessives, or plural possessives. What is the word in bold? It says fortunately there was no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. Fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. It says, fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. So, tornadoes, is that a plural noun referring to more than one? Or is it a singular possessive noun that ends with an apostrophe and an S? Remember, when we add an apostrophe and an S, we show possession, possessive, right? When we say plural, then it's like saying there's more than one, right? So if we say, fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path, right? Which means that when the tornado came, the tornado, the tornado's path, right? It did not affect any homes or buildings. So we will say it's a singular possessive noun. Remember when we add a possessive, whenever we add um an apostrophe and an S, then it is possessive, right? If we are just saying, for example, one of this, more of that, then it is plurals. For example, like here, ancient Egyptians built tall four-sided monuments called obelisks, whose tops were pointed and sometimes covered in gold and silver. So now we need to say the word monuments. Is that a singular possessive noun or a plural noun? Monuments. All right, so monuments. Is it a singular possessive or is it a plural noun? Monuments. All right, and if we choose the correct one, then we can say that yes, it is a plural noun because it refers to more than one monument. So well done. Monuments is correct. It is a plural noun. It wasn't long after Nick sat down with his sandwich that two wasps started circling him. So it wasn't long after Nick sat down with his sandwich that two wasps started circling him. Is that a plural possessive noun? Or is it just a plural noun? Wasps. Wasps. All right. And if we choose the correct one, right, we can say that is referring to more than one, which is a plural noun only. Right? Remember when we add an apostrophe and an s, and it's either a singular possessive or plural possessive. In 2001, it, Eric, sorry, Weyhemeyer became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Wow. Weyhemeyer's story inspires young adventurers around the world. We need to say, is that a singular possessive noun or is that a plural noun? All right, and if we choose the correct one, we can say Weyhemeyer's story, right? Which means that it is or it belongs to Eric Weyhemeyer. So it's a singular possessive noun. So well done. The first one is correct. It's a singular possessive noun. All right. Now it says the author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and wading through the creeks in rural Oregon. These experiences are brought to life in her stories. So now, is that a singular possessive noun or a plural possessive noun? Making mention of the author, right? And a childhood memories. So is that a singular possessive or is that a plural possessive? All right. And if we choose the correct one, we can say it is the singular possessive noun. Yes. So well done. Well done. All right. Now we're going on to form and use plurals, right? Plurals showing more than one, right? And when we form and use plurals, right? To form the plurals of most of our nouns, then we usually just end an s. We usually just add an s, right? Because we're talking about one car, and then we are saying to a plural of that car is cars, right? Bench, benches, we add an es. Box, boxes, we add an es. Chair, chairs, we add an s, right? So most we just basically add an s or es, right, to make it plural. Or we can add ies to also make it plural, right? So here we have quite a few examples of words that we can use and how we can change it in order to show the plural form of that nouns. So to form the plurals of most of the nouns, we said we add an s, right? One tree, two trees. One car, five cars. right? One child. Okay, that is not, that changes the whole thingy. Um, one pen, lots of pens, right? But now, if our noun ends with either, if our noun ends with either S, C, H, S, H, X, or Z, then we add an ES to our specific word. For example, one bush, two bushes, one box, two boxes, one church, two churches, right? That is just an example of us showing the plural form of those words, right? Then, if our noun ends with a consonant Y, then we drop the Y and we add IES. For example, one baby, right? One baby that ends with a Y. But we say two babies. So now we have dropped the Y and then we've added IES. One family, two families, right? Then also, if our noun now ends, for example, with an F or an FE, and the F sound changes to V, right? When it is plural, then we drop the F and we add VES to make it plural. For example, one wolf, two wolves, one half, two halves, right? That is just an example. But now, if the noun ends with an F or FE and the plural form keeps the F sound, then all we do is we just add an S to make it plural. Like, for example, one shift, two shifts, or three shifts, right? All right. All right. Now it says complete the sentences with the correct plurals. Harsh household cleaning supply. Supply. Look at the word supply. Do we say supply? Do we say supply, which is option one? Supplies, which is option two, or supply with YS? So harsh household cleaning supplies can tarnish rings made from silver, but platinum rings, which look like silver to the untrained eye, are impervious to damage or discoloration from bleach or detergents. So supply, we need to change that word to make it plural. Supplies. Is it option one, two, or three? All right, and if we choose the correct one, we can say harsh household cleaning supplies. Because remember, we said that once we have a noun that ends with a Y, then we change that Y to IES to show the plural form, right? So supplies. So most household cleaning supplies can tarnish rings made from silver. All right. So supplies is correct. Charles J. van der Poel, who invented electric trolley in 1885, invested much of his time and money experimenting the electricity. In 1878, he created a lightning system for an evening circus. All right. And if we choose the correct word, is it trolley, trolleys, or trolleys? Is that both words the same? Two and three the same? Looks like both two and three is the same. So do we say it's option one or option two or three? All right, so both two and three is the same. All right, so both is correct. It says we need to complete the sentence with the correct plural. Rebecca, who is a dedicated environmentalist, donates money annually to several organizations, all right, concerned with the protection of endangered species. So organization. Do we say organization or organizations? All right. So if we say Rebecca, who is a dedicated environmentalist, donates money annual to several organizations. Do we say organization? Organizations concerned with the protection of endangered species. All right. And we will say several organizations, which is two and three, right? Yes, two and three. So well done. Two and three is correct. Organizations. Then we say classified as woodwind instrument. A piccoli. Is it piccoli? 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 Are related to flutes. However, the piccoli has a higher range than the flute. Is it piccoli, piccolo, piccolos? So we can classify as woodwind instrument, piccolis, piccolos, or are related to flutes. However, the piccoli has a high range than the flute. All right, and we said we are choosing the second one. Well done. The second one is correct. All right. It says just oh, just Julia's new house is located between two duplex, but all the tall elm trees surrounding her property afford her plenty of privacy. All right, so it says two duplexes. Do we say it's the option one, which is duplex, or two, which is duplexes, or three, which is duplex, and then with an S? So we need to choose the correct one. And if we choose the correct one, we will go with option two. Right? All right. All right. So for now, this is the end of our lesson on nouns. In our next lesson, we will do to form and use the plurals of compound nouns as well as to form the singular and plurals possessive. That will be our next lesson. All right, so today's lesson we did nouns and we spoke about identifying plurals, singular as well as plural possessives, right? And we had to form and use plurals. Plurals are basically most of them just add ends with an s or es or ies, right? Or changes from time to time. And then we have possessives that shows who or what has something or owns something. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on nouns. Thank you very much for joining the class. I really hope you're going to have a good evening further. Goodbye. All right. So this is the end of our lesson, guys. Have a good night further. Goodbye.